spoke to the attorney, and the attorney only asked one question the whole time. So.
Okay. So walk me through this. So you had a prior attorney. You went to a hearing. Let me understand a little bit more about this. What's different between your impairment nowadays and what it was like? And I'm assuming, what, 2016, 2017, that you had the prior hearing?
Yeah, I'm sorry. What do you say? What's gotten worse? Is that what you're saying?
Well, how have things gotten worse? How have things changed? I mean, since, 20...
I'm just not... I'm fatigued. It's gotten worse. I have a hard time moving. My whole body. It's so hard for people to understand chronic pain because it's subjective. But with the pain is the swelling, the stiffness, the tenderness to touch, and sometimes I can't even get out of bed because I can't. It's just gotten to the point where I'm fatigued all the time. I have a low stamina, and it's just hard to do anything really. I get a lot of help from my mom. She lives a couple of doors down. So,
well, help me out with this. How do you afford things nowadays?
I live on the bare minimum. My family pretty much just helps me.
Okay. So walk me through this. So your family's been helping you, right? Now, one thing I don't understand is the following. All right, so I understand that you have this pain. You have difficulty, I'm sure, walking, correct?
Yes.
Okay. How far do you think you could walk before you'd have to stop and rest?
I don't know, honestly. I know I couldn't walk a block. I know that for sure. Okay. I'm not real good on measurements, so.
Okay, understood. So you'd have difficulty walking.
I can't, and it's hard with this disease because the more you do, you have to be really careful. They tell you in the medical field to stay active, but it's hard to stay active because any kind of overexertion irritates it. So.
Okay, understood. So walk me through this. If you have this pain and these issues, when you go walking, do you use a cane, a crutch, a walker, a wheelchair, or anything like that?
Yes, I do. I have a walker.
Okay. And who prescribed the walker?
It was not prescribed. It was given to me.
Okay. Why didn't you get a prescription for it?
Honestly, I never asked for it, and I did mention it to my doctor. Well, it's been a while ago, but he didn't really say anything about it. So.
Okay. So help me out with this. You've been having these difficulties. You have not utilized at this point some sort of ambulatory device in a medical sense other than to pick one up yourself. So can you help me out with this? You said you could walk maybe a block, and I understand that, but when you go...
I don't think I can walk a block. No, I can't walk a block.
Okay. So help me out with this. When you go to buy groceries, do you use the carts there, or how does that work?
My mom helps me with that.
Now, how does she help you with that?
She usually gets the groceries, or I use the cart, the little cart thing, and she helps me, put them in and out.
Okay. So basically, now, who loads the groceries into the car?
She does.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And when it comes to, unloading them from the car into the house, who does that?
She does. She has a little wagon that we pretty much, put them in there and then roll them to the door.
Okay. Now, help me out with this. Surely you put the groceries away. Don't you do that?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'll bring them in the house, and I do a little bit, and she does a little bit.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And help me out with this. What are some of the functions that you do around the house?
As far as, are you talking about like cleaning?
Yeah, well, can you do cooking, cleaning, laundry, or maybe paying bills, things like that?
I don't cook. I can't stand at the sink for, a significant amount of time. I can't stand at the stove. I do have trouble remembering things. I've left things on the stove before. as far as cleaning goes, I don't do a lot of that, and if I do something, it's in increments.
Okay. What's your favorite thing to cook?
Well, I used to love to cook. I can pretty much cook anything, but I don't cook. I usually just do things that are easy to put together, sandwiches, stuff like that.
Okay. Well, what would be an example of something you used to cook in the past?
We were raised on Cajun cooking, so I did a lot of Cajun cooking, gumbos, Italian food, spaghetti,
Okay.
soup. I don't know.
Oh, okay, understood. So now walk me through this. So you've been able to do some cooking in the past. You have more difficulty with it now. Do you think you could cook that nowadays? Some of those dishes?
No. I cannot be in the kitchen whatsoever. That's just not. I've learned to accept. I used to fight these things, but it's just got to the point I just can't. I can't do it anymore.
Mm-hmm. So you've been having these difficulties for a while. You can't cook anymore like you used to. You're still able to put together sandwiches. I understand that. Oh, good. I may have to grab, just as a heads up, I may have to grab Sweetie and put her outside because she just had dinner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take a brief intermission. I'm going to put Sweetie outside, and then I will be right back. So give me 1 second. I will be literally right back. Hold on. Okay. Come on, guys. All right. So, and of course, Shadow's going to bark as much as he can now. All right. So let's go through this real quick. So you have difficulty with doing cooking. And I understand you couldn't do much standing. I understand you can't do much with the groceries. So if you make simple foods and you do that stuff, help me out. How much do you think you could lift with your dominant hand? And what is your dominant hand?
It's my right hand, and I do have arthritis in my hand, so I'm not sure if I could even. I could probably lift 10 pounds, but I could not do that over and over again.
Okay, so you could probably lift. So now, help me out. When it comes to cooking and things like that, what are examples of some things that are too heavy for you to lift?
I would say some of the heavier pots.
Some of the heavier pots? Okay, understood. Now, let's say that your mom isn't there, right? Your mom isn't there to help you cook, and you're there all by yourself. Who does the laundry?
My mom does help me with that also. I'm sorry, I get a lot of help from her.
Okay, but when she's not around, she's not always going to be there.
Well, I can separate it while, I sit in my bed and separate it and stuff, but she'll help me with take it. We have a laundry door right next to my apartment, so she helps me take it right there.
Okay. Are there any other people that help you?
On a day-to-day basis, no.
Okay, well, what about not on a day-to-day basis? They just come over to help you.
It would be I have kids. My kids come and help me.
Okay, so how old are your children?
My oldest is 31, and then I have a 27-year-old and a 25-year-old.
Okay, and how old are you?
I'll be 50 in May.
Okay. So you'll be 50 in May. That's good to know. All right, understood. So you're under 50, which means not a grid out situation. Can you tell me this? Do you know when your actual hearing is going to be?
Yeah, it's in mid-February.
Okay, understood. Now, are you beginning to prepare to collect evidence and things like that?
Yeah, I did receive a notice just a few days ago that they got all my medical records.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. Now help me out with this. So let's go through some of the basics of these other details. You talked about depression, correct? And that was the most severe mental impairment that you had? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about your depression. When did that start?
I would think it's been a lot of years I've struggled with it, but it's gotten really bad.
Okay, you're lagging a little bit. Like, keep up with the conversation because the judge is going to be, the judge is.
It's gotten really bad. It's gotten really bad since I haven't been working.
Okay. So 2016 forward?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent. So 2016 forward, you had issues with depression. Describe for me, what is your depression like?
It's very heavy. It's well, it's hard to get out of bed anyway. I have to sometimes, when you're in pain, sometimes I'll have flare-ups. So I'm in bed for, 2 to 3 days at a time. So it gets really dark. Then, it causes issues with family members, and it's hard to talk about.
Okay, so help me out here. Now, remember, these are the basic questions about depression, and you're going to face those. There's no doubt about it. So that was not a really good, extensive definition of the depression that you're experiencing. Okay. The only thing I heard in there that was really helpful was you sit in bed or you sleep for 2 to 3 days in a row. But then that brings up the question of how do you eat? Who's bringing you food? If somebody is bringing you food, or you're just not eating for 2 to 3 days. So a lot of questions pop into my head, but I'm not getting like a full answer. Walk me through this. Can you define depression for me? What is depression to you?
Worthlessness, feeling of helplessness. I'm not able to concentrate. I don't have very many interests. It's just hard to get excited about anything, really. It's just a dull feeling.
Okay. All right. What I need you to do is I'm going to need you to go look at listing 12.04. So do you have a piece of paper and a pen with you?
Yeah.
Okay. I want you to write down listing 12.04. I want you to go look up listing 12.04. I want you to look at specifically what they're talking about when defining depression. Depressed mood, diminished interest in all activities, appetite disturbance, sleep disturbance, observable psychomotor agitation or retardation, decreased energy, feelings of guilt or worthlessness, difficulty concentrating or thinking, or thoughts of death or suicide. Okay, so you've got to know how to come out with those words, then be able to describe those terms. Because when the judge is sitting there, you gave me kind of an answer like, if I were to ask you, what do you do all day? You're the type of person that would answer with, I don't do anything. And then boom, end it right there. And nothing gets these judges more angry than a claimant who can't actually describe the question that they have. So let's try that one again. Can you describe what is your depression like for you?
It's a sense of worthlessness, helplessness, not able to concentrate, inability to stay on task, not able to concentrate, hard to get out of bed.
Okay. All right, that's good. You're starting to round the answers. You're doing well there. So tell me, what do you do all day if you don't do that much?
I'm literally in bed because of the pain. I would say 75% to 80% of the time. I think what people don't understand is that it's very debilitating. It's not just pain, it's swelling, it's stiffness.
Right, but is that what you do all day?
I watch a lot of movies, I guess. I do try to read because I used to be an avid reader. but I'm having issues with my eyes, so it's hard to read more than maybe 30 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
And that's basically it. I have a dog.
Okay. So you have a dog now. Look, here's the deal with pets. The SSA treats people with pets very poorly because they use them as something that they can harm the person with. Now, I'm going to ask you who feeds the pet, who walks the pet. You're going to tell me your mom does that. And then I'm going to ask you when she's not around who does that. And you're going to tell me, oh, my mom does it all. And then I'm going to say to you, well, does your mom live with you? And you're going to say, no, my mom doesn't live with me. And then you're going to come out as a liar. So let's play this.
I know it's so hard because she's like right here. She does do a lot for me. I guess that's hard to explain.
Oh, no, that's not hard to explain. You just have to explain what you do with the pets when she's not available. So you tell me, who takes care of the pets?
So I don't say my mom. I don't understand. Like, I have to tell the truth. My mom does help me.
And when she's not available?
Oh, well, I'll feed her. I'll give her water. I don't know. I mean, I'm stuck on that one.
Okay. So help me out with this. So you have your mom come, and that sometimes who walks the dog?
My mom does.
And when your mom's not around?
I ordinarily just let my mom take her, but I have her on a leash. I can let her out the back door, and she can go. I have one little blonde one. That's how she uses the restroom.
Okay, so you're able to handle when the dog is pulling on your arm?
No, she doesn't pull. I think that puts me in a...
So help me out with this. When you're there taking care of the dog, what kind of dog food do you purchase?
She's a small dog.
Okay, so what does that mean?
Oh, I'm sorry. She's a dachshund beagle.
Okay, but so here's what I'm thinking. My brain is thinking, okay, so she just told me that it's a small dog, which means that she knows I'm getting at what size bag of food is being purchased for the dog, right?
What size what?
What size bag of food is being purchased for the dog? Because think about it. If the dog's a small dog doesn't need 50-pound bags. But what did that tell me? It told me that you knew to anticipate the question I was likely getting at, which means that I'm now thinking, okay, this person has some training and they're showing me that. So now I'm starting to think, okay, there's a small dog. Small dog has to go to the bathroom more often than a larger dog. The mom's not always around.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a gated in back or a fenced in backyard?
No.
Okay. So how many pounds is this dog?
There's a gate around the community. I'm sorry.
Well, I mean around your backyard, not the community,
It's just a small area in the back. It's not a large area.
When the dog goes to the bathroom, who cleans it up?
I do.
Okay. So walk me through this. Do you have a trash bin outside?
I don't specifically, but there's one right next to our apartment.
Okay, so you walk to the garbage facility.
Sometimes I do, not always. It's right there. It's not. It's hard to explain.
Oh, how many car lengths is it?
I would say maybe 2.
Maybe 2? Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so when you're feeding the dog, how many times do you have to feed the dog a day?
I would say twice.
Twice. Okay, how many times do you have to put water in a bowl a day?
Usually once a day.
Who takes the dog to the vet?
My mom.
Okay, and help me out with this. Do you go with her?
No.
Okay.
I rarely get out of the house. I'm telling you, this is not a lie.
Okay.
If I get out of the house, it's usually my doctor's appointments or just, to my children.
Mm-hmm. How old is your mom?
My mom's in her 70s.
So she's retired?
Yeah.
Does she still work?
No.
Does she have a husband?
No.
Okay. Do you have a husband?
No.
Do you have a boyfriend or significant other?
No.
Okay. So walk me through this. Who takes out the trash?
I do.
Okay. How often per week do you take out the trash?
I don't take it out very often because I don't cook, so I would say maybe once a week.
Once a week? Okay. Okay. Well, how heavy do you think that trash bin is by the time you have to take it out?
I don't let it get that big for that reason, so I'm so bad about numbers, I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. 1 to 2 pounds, if that. I don't know.
Okay.
Even if that, I don't.
Okay. All right. So right now my brain is on fire because I know the garbage does not weigh 1 to 2 pounds because
Yeah, I don't know. What is that?
it's
I
probably
honestly don't know.
it's probably anywhere from 15 to 20 pounds by the time it's all kind of put together. All right. So
no, it's never. No, it's never like that. No.
okay.
I don't. It's a little bitty 13-gallon trash can that I put under the sink. It's not.
Okay. All right. Let me ask you this: when it comes to things that are in the environment that might cause you to have more severe impairments, things like hot, cold, dust, loud sounds, pulmonary irritants, vibrations, things like that, are there things in the environment that cause your impairments to become more severe?
Yes. I'm very sensitive to certain lights, like LEDs, especially any kind of bright light.
Mm-hmm.
Large sounds or sudden sounds, and then the low vibrations, like the thumping that you hear, like on a radio or stereo.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it just shoots through you like a rippling effect. And then I'm sensitive to touch. I have sensitive to any kind of tight clothing. I'm pretty much in my pajamas, and I wear T-shirts most of the time. It's pretty much like cotton because it breathes.
Okay. Are you able to button buttons, zipper zippers, put on shoes, things like that?
Yeah, I would say buttons might be a little bit hard, but I don't wear shoes because of the pain and the swelling. I usually wear slippers, and they're usually a half size bigger because of the swelling.
Okay. But you've never been prescribed orthopedic shoes?
No. When I first got injured, I don't know if you remember back in the day where they did those spring shoes.
Sure. I had those.
I don't know if they call them. Yeah, I don't know if they're orthopedic, but my doctor did suggest that I wear those when I was working.
Okay. All right. But nothing was prescribed, correct?
No.
Okay. All right. So I'm going to kind of give a little summary real quick with you on the phone so you understand some of the things I'm feeling. Well, and look, nobody fails on this channel. The whole point of this is a learning exercise.
Sorry, I just got nervous.
No, you're fine. First and foremost, the speed at which you are approaching some of these questions is too drawn out. I'm sitting here waiting for you to give me the information, and I'm slowly, and then you'll pause, and here's more information, and then I'm thinking I should jump in, but then you'll pause, and this is why I can't explain it. Like every time you said to me, it's really hard for me to explain, I'm thinking in my head, this is going to take longer now. This is going to take longer now. She's not prepared.
Okay.
So what I want you to do is I want you to work on, and you've seen the top 50 ALJ trick questions. Have you seen that playlist?
No, I haven't. I've tried to find them all, but I haven't been able to find them all.
Okay, so it's a big playlist. So if you go to my channel and just click on the playlist, you'll just do that like Command F or Control F, and then type in top 50, like 50, and that whole playlist of them, 1 through 50, I think it's 1 through 51, will pop up, and then you can use those to kind of help you. There's another one out there too that would really help you with this claim. Basically, it's called the top 200 most common Social Security disability hearing questions. Check that out. That would be probably very helpful to you as well, because those are the most common disability hearing questions. And I go much more into depth with that, than, basically what we're doing here. Now, I want to summarize for you what I'm feeling, what I'm hearing when I basically go through this stuff with you. What I'm feeling and hearing is somebody who is obviously very depressed, tired, doesn't want to have to do anything, miserable, probably in pain, but somebody who is not sure how to answer basic questions, how to define depression. You were starting to get it with the shaping of pain and where you have pain and things like that, but you were running out of adjectives, and you were consistently using the same adjective over and over for multiple body part areas. These judges are scholars. These judges appreciate a difference in words. When you say I take my medication, the side effects I get from are stomach ache, stomach ache, stomach ache, stomach ache, pain, stomach ache, stomach ache, stomach ache, stomach ache. When you do that, their brain tends to shut off. So it's very important to go ahead and, realize what the question is, and then figure out how to better define your answer. So essentially, what kind of pain do you have throughout your body? You're going to go through each body part that you have and explain it, hopefully with different adjectives, because their brain is going to cue into those different things, because all these ALJs are scholars. They're all attorneys who became judges. Okay. There are weaknesses in this claim related to my mom does everything. My mom does everything. My mom does everything. My mom does everything.
I know, but it's so true. I mean, I don't know what I would do without her.
Well, let's examine that for a moment. Your mom has, let's do a vacation. She goes on vacation on a cruise, right? She's very happy she's on her cruise and she's not available. What are you going to do?
Probably go stay with one of my kids for a little while.
Okay. So you're going to go stay with your kids, and then what will happen?
Are you wanting to know, like, what I would do if I didn't have any help around?
Well, no. So you're reading too much into the question. So here's the thing. You are an educated person, a bright person, but it's like there's this weird gap. Your brain is going 90 miles per hour, and then when you go to answer the question, you can't figure out what part of the question you want to answer that you already pre-thought about that I'm getting at. So the tricky part is you're like, what does this person really want from this question? That's fine. You just need to keep working these questions and you'll see it more. But what I'm getting at is, if you had benefits, if you had health insurance, if you had a check every month, right? Disability benefits doesn't include a mom. What happens if there's no mom? How would the money and the health insurance help you continue with your life?
Well, for one, I think I might be able to get a little better health care. Maybe I can get, some kind of physical therapy or something that will help it, make it a little bit easier, and not so hard on me every day.
How about some sort of social worker, care worker, somebody who shows up and assists you with?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes,
All right.
I could use that. I'm sorry.
So
I could use that right now, to be honest.
So you would say, Your Honor, I would use the health insurance to get medical assistance so that somebody could help take care of me, so that I would not be relying on my mother and children. Perfect. We're going to take a quick little mini break for about 2 minutes. I have to go get Shadow. He's currently outside whining. I'll be right back.
Okay.
Here we go. Okay, good. Oh, we have somebody who's going to join us for the show. Somebody who's not happy because he ate too much beef, and now he's a little beef baby. All right, so he's a good monkey. Let me tell you, he annoys the crap out of the neighbors, and he does a good job. So, all right. Now with these questions that we went over, what was the number one thing that you learned from them?
What did I learn from them?
Yeah, what was the number one thing that you learned from them?
I'm not prepared.
Mm-hmm.
I get too nervous.
Okay.
Too emotional.
Okay. You're not giving the answers that you could potentially do. You need to work on them. Yes. But all right, so help me out with this. Are you currently represented?
No.
Okay. And you have this hearing coming up, and you know that the medical evidence is very important. Can you tell me which medical facility likely has the best evidence to prove that you are disabled?
I would say my doctor that I'm seeing.
Mm-hmm.
He's a chronic pain specialist.
Okay, excellent. Can you tell me what procedures, what medical imaging, what medically has been done in timeline format to help me understand the severity of your impairments?
I've had MRIs, lumbar injections. I've got several herniated discs in my neck with cord compression.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a lower lumbar disc, herniated disc. I think it's L4 and 5 and S1. And then it shows, what is that? I don't know how to say the name. Where it's several, where you have arthritis, several joints.
Mm-hmm.
Polyalgia or polyarth something, I don't know.
Okay.
And then
Now, I just want to point out,
that's pretty much it.
this is the big thing. You have to know what your medical conditions are called for the actual hearing. You can't walk in there and say, I've got back problems. You have to be able to explain what
Right.
type of back problems you actually have. Otherwise, the judge is going to be going, here we go. All right. Next thing I want to cover with
Am
you.
I able-
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. No, I'll ask after you're done.
The other thing you've got to watch out for is you're making a claim based upon, pain all over. So there's an issue because there's a 2-element test for pain with the SSA. Whoever's going to represent you in the future for this hearing, or if you're not going to be represented, start looking it up. But the bottom line is for pain, there's 2 elements. And it's super important that you understand how to explain your pain based upon those 2 elements. So that'll be like you can always call me later and we can go through that. But the bottom line is that's something you need to work on. Another thing that you need before this hearing is you need a prescription for your walker. You need a prescription for a cane. You need a prescription for items that are in your house that allow you to get around even though you have difficulty standing. Okay? Okay. All right. Do you have any questions for me before I pop off and do somebody else?
Oh, I'm sure I have several.
Okay. Go ahead.
I know you said that RSD is hard to work in the courts, but is there something to say that it's been going on for 20 years and that my medical records go all the way back to that time? Does that have any kind of weight?
It does, but here's the kicker. You have to tie that together with your work history now as to why you weren't able to work. And you basically had a job that you tried to do and had a failed work attempt. If you got a hearing around the corner, you better go get letters from that prior job of those people as to why you were unable to do the job. Now, did you get fired or did you quit?
I got fired on the last one.
You got fired on the last one. Why did you get fired?
For missing work, essentially.
Okay, so missed days, and how many days did you miss a month?
Oh gosh, I missed quite a few. Well, I was having to leave work for one because I had doctor's appointments, and then I would have physical therapy, and then there were times when I was just in so much pain I couldn't walk, so I had to stay home, or I'd have a flare up, and I was missing sometimes two, maybe, I know one time I missed 3 days out of the week. Nobody can run a business like that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
So
you were consistently missing work, and were you in the hospital or were you just at home?
I was, well, the gist of them were legit. They were doctor's appointments and having to go to physical therapy. He just didn't like the whole idea that he had just hired me, and all of a sudden I have all these doctor's appointments. And then when he found out that I had RSD and I was on pain medication, it's like the whole atmosphere changed. And I was just being harassed.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't really want to be there after the fact, so I wasn't really. I think then he tried to find a way to get rid of me.
Okay. And you haven't tried to find other jobs since then?
Yes, I did get one. I got one or two of them, and one of them I went to them and asked about, how some people, they have programs that if you're disabled, they'll help you if you can only work 2 hours a day and all that, yeah. Well, I went to them to talk to them about that, and they said I didn't qualify, that I wasn't old enough, that I hadn't been at that company long enough, so I had to quit that one because I couldn't. You had to maintain the 40-hour week, and I couldn't do that, so I had to quit that one. And then another one, the last one I worked at, it was just pretty much conflict of personalities.
Be careful when you limit it, because you're limiting the reason you didn't work out. Conflict of personalities? That doesn't sound like you're a bipolar or a mood disorder person, right? So you didn't mention that before.
Well, I'm just saying she didn't like me. As soon as they knew that I had a medical condition and I had to take pain medication, they pretty much got me out of there. They pretty much fired me. I came in one day and they had changed the locks, and that was it.
Okay. All right. Do you have any additional questions for me before I pop off and grab another viewer that wants to go ahead and run questions?
Will you talk to me?
Yeah. I'm asking you, are there any additional questions that you have for me before I pop off and go to the next listener?
No, I probably do, but no, that's okay.
Okay. You did very well. Please go watch the top 50 ALJ trick questions, the playlist. Please go watch the top 200 most common disability hearing questions. Go watch that playlist as well. Those playlists will teach you the basics that'll get you to that next level. However, I want to spend some time here. You need to go look up adjectives for pain. They have websites out there that have tons and tons of words that you can use to describe the pain that you have. You need to go ahead and get better at describing, well, where do you have pain in your body? Well, walk me through this. How long have you had the pain? Where does the pain shoot from? You've got to get better at describing those, because that's going to be key for your claim, because your claim is all about sensitivity of the body, right? When you go to the doctors, they're touching you in different places. They're saying, okay, how does this feel? What's going on with this? Is this tender? They're going through all of those things to see where you are at. And they're also looking at movement. Can you move your arm a certain degree? Yeah, go ahead.
Are there winnable cases? I mean, or is it just, do I have any kind of a chance of succeeding?
Yeah, I mean, I'd have to look at the medical evidence, but I mean, look, this is a classic claim setup. And let me tell you why these claims tend to be tougher. Female claimants under 50 usually have somebody taking care of them. The males don't. The males end up homeless. They end up from the Homeless Coalition to the Samaritan Resource Center to the this, to that, to the whatever. And their impairments become more extreme because they're in a homeless situation. Lack of proper food, lack of proper shelter.
Well, I was homeless.
And when were you homeless?
I'm sorry, between 13 and 2015.
Okay. So who pays for your current living accommodations?
Right now, my family,
Why don't you live with your mother if you're always requesting her assistance?
it's our personalities. We just don't conflict of personality.
Okay. All right.
It's been going on since I was a kid.
Okay. All right. Excellent. All right. So here's what I would say. If you want to send the medical evidence over, I can look at it kind of briefly and get the ball rolling as to where are you at with it, because I can look at diagnostic impressions and medical examinations and tests and things like that and give a pretty quick analysis as to which way the judge is going to lean on a claim like this. However, I will say this, you got to work very hard on your testimony, because your testimony and making a judge believe your claim is very important. And here's why. You have an impairment like fibromyalgia. And fibromyalgia is kind of like looking at, when somebody says, I'm a doctor, and then they go, well, I'm a chiropractic doctor. And everybody goes, wait a minute. That's the feeling that they have when they look at that type of claim or fibromyalgia, things like that. Yes, it's a severe impairment, but it's really tough to prove with objective evidence that your impairment is causing, all of the impairments that you have. So, your game is a pain game. All the pain that you're having all over. The depression is a result of the pain. So you're going to have to become really amazing at describing the pain and also the depression. Now, we didn't go into other things, but normally you would go into each impairment that you have, not just the top 5, but anything that exists. So the first thing I'd like you to do after this phone call is make a list of every single impairment that you have, the small ones to the big ones. And I want you to break it up into the following layout. You have the mild impairments, the moderate impairments, the severe impairments, and the extreme impairments. And I want you to write them into which ones you feel fall into which category, and then put a little thing next to it as to why.
Mild, moderate.
Severe, extreme.
Extreme. When they did, because they wanted to do expensive surgery on my neck, back, to fuse those bones together, but I was scared to do that. But the doctor stated that with all the damage done, my spine is clinically unstable. Is that something I should put in there?
Yes, and you want to put in there why the surgery didn't occur. You want to explain your reasoning as to why you didn't go through with it. And then the other thing we didn't go into is what medication are you on, what's it for, and what side effects do you get from each?
Did you want me to tell you?
No, I'm going to swap over to another person now. But put the list together. And the other thing is, too, your vocal characteristics. I understand your pain, but you've got to get better at bridging your phrasing, because what happens is you'll say something and then you go, and then my brain starts to go, at what point do I jump in? At what point do I jump in? At what point do I ask a question? And what's happening there is a lot of time is passing, and I'm not sure. I'm not following your rhythm well.
Not convincing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry.
No, you're doing great. You're doing great. You literally put Shadow to sleep. He's sleeping right here. Oh, he's got an eye open now. But you did great. I was really, really happy with what you were doing. I don't know if you're logged on to watch the video as we do it live on YouTube, but Little Shadow was very pleased with your testimony, and he's taking another nap right now. But no, look, you did great. For somebody that hasn't had well, let me ask you this. How many attorneys or advocates or anybody has run questions with you before?
No one.
Yeah, so you're in this is my opinion. You're going to be one of those people who gives a performance somewhere between a 70 to 95% of quality. Most claimants I get give a performance between a 50 and 70 performance. You're going to be way above that. You have the intelligence, the capability, the prior management skills to know how to train your mind to basically give it a good explanation. And I think you're going to do really well. So in that regard, you just need training. So. Yeah, you're going to do great. You're going to do really great.
This is my last chance. I have to do something.
No, I understand. Well, Madame, I will catch up with you a little bit later. Start working on those lists. Have a wonderful night, and we'll go from there.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Madame. All righty. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay, guys, so real quick, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and put the phone number up so that you can see for the next person to go ahead and call in. Let me go ahead and type this in real quick. Here we go. It's a little bit tougher because I have Shadow on my lap. There we go, and perfect. That's the phone number you guys can call in if you want to run questions or if you have a hearing coming up or you just have a random question. I think there were some questions asked during the the live chat session while I was working away. If you get a chance to repost those questions farther down, I'll answer them right now. I do want to talk about one of the big changes. Okay, let me see. Come on, Joe. Hold on. I know you don't want to go. Look at you trying to push your way back into my lap. Come on. There you go, Bubba. Nice, Bubba. I know. Life is so tough when you're Shadow. I know. It's got to guard the house all day, do nothing, eat high-end food. I know. All right. So, yes, consultative examiners are SSA paid, so they're less on trying to give favorable reviews. All right. So, here's the deal. Let me explain how consultative examination, ME, medical experts work. Let me explain why it can seem and often is unfair. Medical experts, just so you guys know, at this point, most of the ones I run into, in my opinion, no, it's not even in my opinion, it's provable. You can look up, and I've even asked them during hearings and things like that, where they're at with it. The bottom line is most of them solely work for the Social Security Administration, which means that they do not have, or it could be, a workers' comp situation or whatever. But the bottom line is they work for some employer. They do not see, general walk-in appointments, which means that you've got somebody who continuously sees claims on the payroll of a company that is saying, hey, I need you to be neutral and partial. And they're going, you got it, boss. You got it. I know. Most people look at that situation and they go, wait a minute. And you should be like that. And here's why. The problem is that when somebody consistently gets paid by the same person over and over, it's almost impossible for that person not to create some sort of bias when they are not legally trained. Now, I say that because we have judges, they're paid by the government, and sometimes government cases come before them, and you tend to notice a more neutral atmosphere with those judges. Sometimes judges are biased. I can't get around that one either. But there are a lot of really, really great judges that give a neutral, on-the-point, analytical analysis. They do. That's why we have them. They're judges. That's what they're paid to do. But when somebody is consistently paid to do medicine and to see people, we do tend to run into issues. Let me give you some of those examples of issues right now. First and foremost, when you first file for Social Security disability benefits, the expectation is that the Social Security Administration, through DDS, Disability Determination Services, will obtain all of your records, right? So you file for disability benefits, they're going to obtain all of your records. And when they obtain all of your records, the expectation is they're going to send all of those records over to the medical expert. And the medical expert will review them in detail and then see you for 15 minutes, then kick your butt out. And basically that will have been your medical review. The truth is most medical experts are not receiving all of the medical documentation. They're receiving a part or none. And that means that basically they don't have a good understanding as to what's going on with your claim. The problem inherent with that is that this medical expert on behalf of the SSA then must give an opinion without having a record, a background, a timeline, a fact pattern as to where you came from, what's going on, and yada, 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 which means that medical expert is then relying on essentially what the testimony of the claimant actually is. Now, what that means is that the claimant then has to tell the medical expert as much as they can, and the medical expert then needs to come out with a diagnostic impression and summary statement to explain how bad, how severe the claimant actually is, which sometimes they don't. That information is then bundled together and goes back to the DDS rep, our little baby judge, right? The person that's a state-based agency rep who actually decides your claim at the initial filing and reconsideration levels. Now, what does this mean? It means that the MECE, the medical expert consultative examination, occurs, a report is created, it goes back to the mini judge, the DDS rep. The DDS rep then sends it to their PA. There's different names and yada yada, but the bottom line is the internal physician. The internal physician then looks over the seeing physician's information. So the non-seeing physician that works for the SSA then reviews the seeing physician's information right? The one who saw you, you went to that appointment, right? So the non-seeing reviews the seeing physician's information, and then they make a decision. Yes, the person who is hired by the SSA, that is a non-seeing physician, is paid for, is employed by the SSA. Yes, the person you go visit, oh, I got another call coming in, that you actually saw is also paid by the SSA, which obviously creates an issue. Let's go ahead and check it out. Oh, hold on. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. Are you ready to go live on YouTube? Perfect. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put us live. Make sure you use a fake name throughout this procedure. My name is Attorney Walter Hnot III with Disability Resolution PA. Would you like me to go ahead and run hearing questions with you, or would you like me to answer a specific question that you have?
Well, I called in a long time ago and you ran hearing questions with me. And you said my testimony was kind of, you know, out, like too much. I needed to, you know,
so
point it.
Okay, so I ran questions before, which means you're calling back in, which means I get a second shot at the apple. So do I have your permission to really grill you?
Oh, yes, but don't be mean.
Oh, no. I have to be mean. I had a judge this week who was mean. And let me tell you, that claimant was prepared. They knew what to do. They knew the tricks that came out. It is imperative that I'm mean to you. Madame, go ahead and state your full fake name for the record.
Amanda Cherry.
Now, ma'am, I want to ask you, do you have a license and a car?
No.
Okay. When was the last
I
time?
didn't drive.
Okay. You've never drove?
No.
Current age?
50.
Okay. And can you tell me this? When did you file for disability benefits?
2019 of February.
Do you have a hearing coming up?
Yes, the 21st.
Okay, excellent. So that's around the corner. Can you explain to me, when it comes to your medical evidence, is all of your medical evidence in?
Yes.
And how do you know that?
Well, except the MRI, but I had called them and they're getting it now.
Excellent. Now, are we talking about an MRI in the sense of images, or are we talking about the actual, analysis that came from the MRI?
The analysis, I guess.
Okay, understood. Because I just want you to know, images are not usually utilized by the SSA. There's a few judges who will use X-ray, MRI, CAT scan, whatever images. In fact, there's one of them I have to buy them for all the time, and she just literally looks at it and does her own, analysis of it. But the bottom line is, okay, good. Just so you understand that. Okay, good. I feel very good about this. So now, tell me, what was the last job that you worked?
I worked at a restaurant for 18 years.
What kind of restaurant?
Shoney's.
Okay. Now, I asked you what was the last job you had. I asked you what kind of facility. Have you told me yet what you did?
No.
So what was the last job that you had?
I was a server.
You were a server. And were you a server that did a lot of functions? Like you were the cashier, cash in, cash out. You were making some items that the chef or the kitchen was not. What were your duties?
I would wait on customers, wash tables, do the cash register, set up for parties, make tea, coffee. I'd be the opener.
Okay, so you were the opener, so you were in a managerial position, correct?
No, I was just a server.
You were just a server. But you were opening, weren't you?
Yeah, but I was just opening server.
Were you...
I didn't have a title.
Did you have a key?
No.
Then how were you opening?
Well, the cooks would already be there, and I just pound on the back door.
Okay, understood. Gotcha. Okay, now help me with this. So you were doing this serving. You were apparently good at your job. You were there for a very long time. Can you tell me, did you ever win any awards?
Back in the day, we did, but then the company changed and no longer did them. Like you'd get paw prints for your name tag, but that was in 2000.
Okay, understood.
Like early 2000.
So why did you stop working?
Well, I dropped a coffee pot. My hands go numb, so I dropped a coffee pot on the floor and burnt a girl's eye, and I just knew that was it.
Wait a minute. So you dropped a coffee pot. It hit the ground?
Yeah, it shattered, and the coffee burnt a server's eye.
Was the other server laying on the ground?
No, it popped up. It splashed up. She's short. She's like 4'9", 4'8".
So that's still like almost 5 feet above the ground. This must have been one heck of a coffee. It's just whoosh.
Oh yeah, it was bad.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Gotcha. I'm trying not to laugh too hard because my lip is dry from all the weather we're having in Florida. Because in Florida right now, it's getting down to like 68 degrees. It's getting really cold. And apparently when you live down here long enough, your body starts to fall apart when it goes below 72. So my lip is literally cracking all over the place. So, all right, here we go. The coffee.
Oh, how nice. I'm 34 here.
Oh, God, that would be horrific. That would be terrible. That would be, I don't even think they could make a movie about a situation like that unless it was the Discovery Channel or maybe, Earth or one of those yada yadas. All right, you're in polar bear weather. Do you ride polar bears or do you have any pets?
I have a dog and a cat.
You have a dog and a cat. Do they get along?
They don't associate with each other.
Yeah, that'll happen in a
Cat
household.
tries to smack her, and she just runs.
Gotcha. So the cat's in charge.
Oh, yeah.
Does the cat feed the dog or do you feed the dog?
My husband feeds the dog.
Do you have any children that are there with you?
I have a 14-year-old.
Okay. Does anybody else come and visit you often?
No, I just stay in the house pretty much. The only places I go is doctor's appointments.
Okay. What are your top 5 most severe impairments?
Well, I have back issues, neck issues, hand issues, leg issues, disorder, and feet issues.
So when people name a body part and they don't tell me the proper medical condition, I get worried. Tell me, feet issues, what does that mean?
Oh, I have spurs on the bottom of my feet from working for so long.
Okay. We prescribed anything for it? Any unique shoes? Any special knee braces? Anything?
No, I was prescribed a walker.
Mm-hmm. Okay. When were you prescribed a walker?
Well, about 3 months ago, I was put in the hospital by the ambulance because I couldn't walk at all. Like my whole leg didn't feel it. It hurt like you wouldn't believe. It's excruciating pain. Like my husband had to get me to the couch so the ambulance would get me. I had no power.
How many years ago did you have that 18-year job?
Quit February 12th, 2019.
Recent. All right, so I'm gonna beat you up a little bit. So, ma'am, when I originally asked you what was the reason that you were unable to work, you said that you dropped a coffee pot, and it was a coffee pot that knew how to jump. But you did not tell me any of your other impairment limitations. I'm going to ask you the question again. Why are you unable to work?
Okay. Well, I can no longer stand on my right leg. I can no longer carry things. My hands go numb. I have headaches. I had neck surgery, so I can't look down to do my job. And I can't really look side by side, side to side very good.
I'm waiting for it. Keep going. And
my feet hurt.
And my depression.
Well, I didn't really have depression that I knew of, but supposedly
supposedly this has been chronic major depressive disorder.
I'm a simple
I thought
man.
the depression was caused by my disabilities.
So how long did you have your disabilities, before you basically had to quit? So you quit in 2019. You are now in 2021. Yeah.
I had them way before then. They probably started in 2016, but I fought my way through. I was the only worker, I was the breadwinner in the family. So I just had to do it. I mean, nothing I could do about it. I just wanted to eat. I had to work.
Okay.
And it just got worse, over and over. I'd be going to work and customers would ask, "Are you okay?" And I'd say, "Oh, I'll be there. I'll get there." And then about 6 hours later, I'm okay. But then when I get home, I'm stiff. So it was a battle.
Okay, so you're having a difficult time. All right. I don't feel easy about how you introduce depression because it doesn't really feel like there's a timeline associated with it. I feel like when it comes to the functions of why you can't work, you didn't really go through all the functions that you as a server did and then explain why you couldn't do those things now. So a little bit more work on that. Okay, good.
What do you mean by that? How would you say it?
Yeah, sure.
With all my impairments.
I would go to the table.
Acting like you're me.
Okay, so I'm going to be you. I'm beautiful.
Okay.
I obviously smoked many times in the past. Am I right? You enjoyed cigarettes.
Yes.
Damn right. I know it.
I don't enjoy them.
You don't. What do you mean you don't enjoy them? You spend a lot of money on them.
I don't enjoy them. It's just a stress reliever, I guess.
It's like me and building boats. I understand. It's an addiction, but we say we like it even though we're never on the water. Ha! I know.
Yeah.
I got you. All right. So the bottom line is this: you basically All right. So let's begin. You walk through the door. What's the first thing you had to do there?
I had to make tea, do coffee, set ice spins, and like just set up creamers.
Whoa, just set up, buddy. We're all about just set up. We're taking a moment to enjoy just set up. We're talking about ice. Ice is not light because ice is made out of water. How heavy did you have to lift up that ice bucket?
Oh, all the time. And the tea wasn't light either. They were big urns.
Mm-hmm. So what kind
I
of
had to pour them.
Okay. So what impairments do you have that would not allow you to lift that 10, 15, 20, 25 pound ice bucket?
Now, what do you mean by impairments? Like what happens to me or?
All right. So a lot of people, the code is written with the phrasing impairment. And what that means is, I'm just texting somebody back in the program. Yes, after this. Okay, perfect. All right. So what that means is that basically, I'm so tired. I've totally forgot what we were talking about. We're talking about ice. We're talking about impairments. No. It's my brain is. I swear there's an amoeba in there starting to eat the important parts. All right. So let's talk about, even though I'm never in the water. So, it's one of those, imaginary amoebas. So impairment is what the code uses to describe disabling conditions. So disabling condition is like, classics, depression, anxiety, panic attacks, bipolar, PTSD, whatever. It is, I don't know why I give you all mentals, but it is a disability. So when I say, how do your impairments limit your ability to lift the ice bucket? I want to hear about the physical impairments that limit your ability to lift.
Wrong with me?
Well, I mean, yeah, you could put it that way, but I want to hear how your impairments limit you. So how your disabling physical conditions would limit your ability to lift the ice bucket.
Well, first of all, I can't stand. There's no way I can lift my shoulders. My arm won't go up past my head because of my neck surgery. My hands go numb. very smart.
No, you're very
to do
smart.
this, and I'm scared.
No. You're doing great. You're doing great. Remember, it's my job to pick on you. It's your job to learn. So tell me, we've got ice. We didn't do great on ice. We're going to do better on the next one. Here we go. The next one.
Okay.
Now we're talking about the ice is done. We've finished the ice. The ice was heavy. Woo! Our knees hurt. Our back hurts. Our spine hurts. What's the next thing you had to do?
Well, I would make iced tea in the big urns. I would wash them, and then I'd have to carry them from the kitchen to the front of the restaurant, and I'd have to make tea, and then I would have to lift them to put onto the, surface. And then, all day long, if you're in a certain section, you'd have to make tea. So I'd be lifting those things all day long.
So you were, and I want to make sure I'm correct with understanding this, the tea fairy sometimes.
Well, when I opened all the time, the first part.
The first
But
part.
then when you were in a certain section, you would make it all day.
You would make it all day. All right. So sometimes
Yes.
you wouldn't be into the tea, and then sometimes you were blessed by the wand at which the restaurant you were to make tea all day. That's very good.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that. What's tough about making tea? Why is tea tough for you nowadays?
Oh, well, the urns are heavy, and I can't lift. My arms don't lift
No.
past my shoulder, and you have to go over your head to pour it.
I want you to
If that makes
define.
sense.
I want you to define earn, because most people haven't worked in your industry and they don't know what earn means. Go ahead and define
Oh,
earn.
okay. It's a big, kind of like a big pan, but not a big pan. Like, it's probably about 3 feet high, maybe. 2 feet, 3 feet high.
Is it the kind that dispenses the fluid?
Yes.
Okay. So what you're saying is if they go to Burger King or McDonald's or one of these places, it's one of those big cylindrical sort of machines with a little nozzle in the front. You fill that whole thing up, you lift that whole thing onto the counter there, and then people are able to utilize that.
Yes.
Okay, cool. So we've got filling up skills. Or how are you going to fill it up if your hands are bad?
Well, I can't no more. That's what happened.
And what is the impairment
I don't
called?
want to hear that.
No,
Okay, I'm sorry.
no, you're good. So what is the impairment called that limits your hands and your finger dexterity?
Well, I had carpet tunnel
Okay, cool.
in my left hand, and he did in my right hand, but he did my left instead of my right. So both hands are messed up now.
Okay, so that's confusing. So basically, they were supposed to fix your right hand, but operated on your left hand. As a result, broke your left hand, and now you've got two broken hands, or as I like to call them, flippers.
Yes.
That's a problem. That's not good.
And I also have evidence on my medical records to state what he should have done. Same with my neck. He should have done a posterior instead of an anterior.
Oh my God.
And now my neck's totally messed up.
Okay, so obviously you have medical malpractice claims going on, correct?
No, because I signed papers beforehand.
Oh, it doesn't matter. If they screw up how long ago was this operation?
March 28th, 2019.
Ma'am, tomorrow I am forcing you at YouTube studio distance that you have to begin calling at least 5 medical malpractice attorneys, because that is clear medical malpractice, and you should be entitled to decent funds. Yes, Jane Doe, exactly. She's being forced through YouTube, which is happening right now. Tomorrow, I want you to call a total of 5 at least medical malpractice attorneys and explain to them in detail what happened, because I mean that's serious. That's like, hey, I had a doctor come, they're supposed to operate on my left elbow, and then guess what? They operated on my right butt cheek, and that's what happened. And I feel terrible about it. I can't sit anymore because now I've got a weird butt cheek. That's essentially what we've got here, a terrible situation.
Well, my lawyer knows
Okay, so what do you want? So did they advise you to get a med mal attorney?
Not that I know of, not that I can remember.
Do you have serious memory issues, or are you pretty good with the memory?
Oh yeah, I can't remember anything anymore.
Okay.
Sometimes I can't even remember words to say. But
All right, so I'm gonna have to ask you to take out a pen and scribble on your problematic left and right hand, because we got a bad one that was meant to be fixed and a good one that was fixed. So, oh goodness!
but it wasn't fixed.
But it wasn't fixed. It was made worse. No, I got you.
Oh yeah, it made it worse. I never had pain shooting in my hand and up my wrist and everything. I just can't. My husband has to do most everything, and I feel bad. This is not who I am.
Well, no, they made you something else.
Makes no sense to you, but
No, I get it. You were going for upgrades, and they gave you downgrades. That's not a good thing. Okay,
yeah.
Talk to me about smoking. You still smoking?
I'm cutting down. I just can't. I got too much going on. I've tried the stress, all this stuff. I want to go back to work is what I want. I know that'll never happen.
Okay, so
And that's, I think, what bothers me the most. That's what nobody understands.
okay. So let me get this straight real quick. So you were working forever. You had these issues. You got 2 bad surgeries from the same doctor, correct?
Yes.
And were both of those same bad surgeries during the same surgery, or were they on different days?
Different dates.
And how far apart were those
I had
dates?
my neck surgery in March.
Okay.
And I had my carpet tunnel in May.
So you had like a window there where you knew they screwed up the first one.
Well, not my neck. I never knew because it takes over a year to heal.
Okay.
They give you 18 months.
Okay.
Well, I'm still waiting.
Okay. I feel so bad for you. I mean, this is like a horrific situation where you were going in to get it fixed and they kept operating you in the wrong. And then the worst part is they didn't tell you. That's horrible.
And now I'm still going back to him because I have back issues, but now he says he can't do any kind of surgery because nothing fixed my neck and nothing fixed my hand.
Well, they operate on.
They're calling me liars. Do you understand?
Yeah, no, I got
I don't
it.
know how to explain it.
Have you sought out an alternative physician, maybe a second opinion, maybe any other opinion?
Well, I went to this one, and he sent me to physical therapy, and I did physical therapy, and they told me that nothing was working, that, I could go home and they'll let the doctor know. And they were supposed to get an MRI on my shoulder. Well, I never heard from them again. So, and then I called them, and they said, well, you'll have to talk to Dr. So-and-so.
Well, ma'am, you remember how...
Which is the doctor that did the surgeries.
Right.
See, that's what I'm thinking. They don't want to touch me because of the other doctor. They're all affiliated.
Yeah, I got you. You got to go out of that area. Yeah. They're all part of the same groups. We have the same issue with the Social Security disability attorneys. We're all on the same, Orange County or whatever county, groups or councils or whatever's. But all right, so let me take a moment here. I'm now going to play you like I was playing you before, right? I'm now a beautiful, wonderful woman who has smoked but was able to create and bring great food to the table. All right, here we go. You were a provider. This is good. I feel good right now. I'm a good person. You, first and foremost, what I would be thinking if I were you is, I am just very disappointed in the professionals that are in my life. That's what I'd be thinking. I'd be thinking, I'm going to fire my attorney for not recommending medical malpractice. I'm going to fire my doctor for operating on me incorrectly twice in a row. I'm going to somehow, I don't even, and now here's the best. And when is your hearing, by the way? I think you told me before.
The 21st.
Yeah, so we're like weeks away. Like if you were to throw a stone.
I don't want to kind of fire my attorney because
You can't. It's around the corner. You got to keep them. You got to keep them. How many times have you run hearing questions with your attorney?
The first time was probably about, it was April 30th.
Like,
and he said that everything looks good, and that, and I even asked him, do I have a chance? And he says, oh yeah, but he's not the judge, so what he looks at and what the judge looks at is two different things.
now, when you hear that great sales tactic right there, what do you think? I'm just curious from a claimant standpoint. I deal with those all the time. People will say, the attorney told me I've got a good claim because they wouldn't have taken it unless they thought it was a good claim. When I hear sales tactics like that, I think to myself, well, that gave you no information at all as to why you have a good claim. So you tell me, when you hear that, what does that make you feel?
Well, it makes me feel good because he didn't actually say it like that. He just said that I have the medical issues, matches my medical impairments. Everything matches up. Clinical.
So the medical evidence is consistent.
Yes.
Okay.
But I also have other things wrong with me, like I have stage 3 kidney disease, I have diabetes, I have high cholesterol, I have high triglycerides, I have I take gabapentin for the nerve pain. I've done so many back injections, neck injections, and nothing's helped. And that's all written down. Like, that's all medical.
You got a walker 3 months ago, was it?
Yes, I did get a walker, but I wasn't real bad. Like, I just can't bend. I couldn't bend then. Now I can barely walk. I mean, my husband has to do everything, and I'm tired of it. And I know you don't understand that, but for me, it's a really bad, like, I'm a worker. Always have been. So it's hard for me to swallow with all this.
Okay. All right.
That makes sense.
You're doing very well. Your hearing is around the corner.
Yes.
I'm assuming you've
I'm
watched.
scared to death.
No, you shouldn't be scared. You're doing much better than you did last time. In fact, the last time we talked, you talked.
Do you remember me?
I do, because you answered questions with 3 paragraphs. You actually Cheyenned me with some of your stylistic approaches. Yes, I remember you. You were
Good.
you're doing much better now, because now I'm on board. I understand. Yeah, you're doing a great job. Okay. Now, let me ask you this. With your particular type of impairments, the judge is going to go into a series of questions related to your residual functional capacity for physical. And what I mean by that is you're going to basically go into, yeah, I know Cheyenne just wrote, oh no, but it's so true, Cheyenne. It's very true. When Cheyenne, like, she's the video assistant live chat person that's helping everybody that's in blue on the little live chat thing. When Cheyenne wants to explain something to me, on paragraph 3, I take a nap and then I wake up later, and usually the first paragraph comes in at the end of it. I think she does that because she was meant to be an attorney or a judge and knows that she needs to go ahead and summarize that puppy. Otherwise, I'm out. So, okay. With that said, that's the shout out you want to give. Cheyenne's amazing. She really is. She's amazing. She's a very detail-oriented person, and she will tell you each detail. So, with that said, with your case, I'm assuming you've gone through the top 50 ALJ trick questions. I'm assuming you've gone through the 200 common disability hearing questions. Have you gone through those?
Yes, but not all of them.
Okay. What section of them are you most worried about?
Just my impairment, and I can't prove anything because I don't have doctors saying that I'm impaired. They all say that I'm doing good, but I'm not. And that's another thing. That's where I'm stuck. Now, some of my medical records say, she's in severe pain, she's using a walker, and blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
But great, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, what?
Okay. So you have inconsistent records where doctors are saying one thing and the other. Which ones are the specialists?
Well, I have pain management, and then I have a second pain management, which I went through my doctor to get her to, because everybody's told me that the only thing that's going to help is opiates. So I thought, well, I'll try them.
Mm-hmm.
Because the pain is excruciating at times.
Okay.
And so I go there, and then the pain management doctor that does my back injections must have talked to her and said that, and she said she couldn't help me because the psych report hasn't come back. Well, first of all, I did a psych report, and it did come back, but not to her liking, so she won't help me. See, they're all affiliated, and that's where it bothers me. That's where I'm stuck.
So why didn't you seek medical treatment outside of the zone in which they were all affiliated?
Well, I didn't have any way to get there or anything. I don't drive.
Does your husband drive?
Well, yeah, but our car's not, it doesn't get farther than certain areas. That's the only car we have.
I got you. So
we
you're
can't afford to buy another one.
You're reserving the family forward, is what you're saying.
Yes.
I got you. Okay. All right. One thing I didn't hear about that I think is relevant to your claim is that you didn't go into any sleeping issues. Make sure you work on that portion because that's going to be very important for the pain that you feel, especially with switching positions, waking up all the time, etc. Do you have any?
I don't sleep. I take medicine for it.
There you go. Do you have any additional questions for me before I switch over to the next person?
No, I'm just scared. I don't know if I'm going to do this.
You're going to be just fine. You're going to do really well. You're doing much better than the last time we talked. I'm really glad that you now have a prescription for a walker. I don't think you had that the last time we talked.
No.
Yeah, I would really like to see you get a prescription for cane as well.
Well, I asked the doctor about that, and she said that I can go buy one.
Okay. Gotcha.
They don't do that.
So they do sometimes. Some of them do, but in fact, all of them do. Some of them don't want to waste their paper, which is,
And also, I asked them that the lawyer sent me those forms for the doctors to fill out. And none of my doctors would fill it out. They said that they don't do that. So how do you get someone to fill it out?
You go to a different doctor. You call them ahead of time and ask them if they fill out residual functional capacity forms.
Well, that's what I did.
And none of them.
You mean another doctor? Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're having a lot of issues with your doctors. They're not very into your claim or assisting you. So at some point, you got to switch. If they're not giving milk, you're going to have to switch out the medical cow,
So is that going to hurt me?
No, you're getting hurt because you're not switching doctors.
I mean, for my hearing.
Well, yeah, it's going to hurt you because you have the same doctors that are all not assisting you or pushing things forward or doing new surgeries. Have you read the new medical documentation that they're creating? Is it saying that you're getting better? Is it saying that you're getting worse?
Oh, no, I got all the medical records.
And what do they say?
Some say that L3S1 will benefit me, and I'm reluctant having it. Well, because the doctor did 2 different things in this to help. You know what I mean? So some are saying the truth, and some are saying that I'm getting better, which is the neurosurgeon.
Okay.
That's the one I have trouble with, the one that did my surgeries.
Okay. All right. Madame, I will catch you a little bit later. Keep working on these questions.
Can you answer me one more question?
Yeah, of course. Go for it. Yeah.
Why would I have 2 medical experts?
Oh, you have 2 MEs? All right. So MEs are used when they need to clear up a difference of opinion. So let's do an example. Let's say that there's 2 United States that are fighting over something, right? Then you haul in somebody to go ahead and explain the differences and figure out a resolution. Similarly, you have 2 doctors, each side of the fence. One is saying you are severely impaired. You can barely do anything. You are a bedridden person. The other one is saying you can ride unicorns and at the same time deliver beautiful, well-wrapped dishes to the serving platter. You have two complete opposites. The judge is bringing in a medical expert to go ahead and give testimony as to where realistically you are at between those two options. Now you have two.
By my clinical.
Yeah, so the reason you have two is because there's two different types of impairments. They're bringing in one medical expert with one field and another medical expert with another field to clear up. Now, this is rare. This only happens, in my opinion. I mean, there's other instances where it happens, but it realistically only happens when you have doctors that really support you and doctors that hate you and are putting down whatever they want to make sure you're not found disabled. And that's what causes this extreme whiplash of they think you're disabled, they think you're not disabled. They have to bring in medical experts to review it and figure out a solution.
Oh, so they're going by what my doctors say and other doctors of mine say.
Correct. And you've got to
And
split
it's not matching up. Gotcha.
in a big way. They only bring them in if it's like a big swing.
Oh, so is that a good thing or a bad thing?
It depends on what they're going to say. You'll be there. Give me a call. Let me know what those medical experts as part of the hearing actually say.
Oh, I'm scared. Okay, thank you.
Absolutely. Have a wonderful night, and I will catch you later.
You too, and stay safe.
Thank you, madam. I'll catch you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Okay, guys, so I missed a bunch of phone calls. Let's see. Let's see what's going on. Okay, so all right, who would like to call in next? I'm looking for Mr. Let's see, Gafour. If you want to go ahead and call in, here's the phone number. I'll give you the first thingamajiggy. Here we go. We're going to be doing one more call tonight because we are officially at 10, and 10 is when I'm supposed to stop. Okay, so guys, if anybody, so nobody's calling the phone right now. There were a bunch of people calling before. This thing was ringing the whole time. Okay, going once, going twice. I'm going to call somebody else. Going once, going twice. Okay, gotcha. No worries. I'm calling this person now. And here we go. Hi, this is Attorney Walter Hnot. We're live on YouTube. Are you ready to go live on YouTube? Perfect. Okay, good. I'm going to go ahead and put us onto speakerphone right now. Make sure you use a fake name through this proceeding. Excellent. Now, good sir, walk me through. Would you like me to answer questions specifically about your disability or your application, or would you like me to run hearing questions with you?
I really have a question about the decision part, because right now my case is in decision mode, decision writer mode, and they sent it there December 3rd, and they sent it to the judge, but the judge sent it back. When I spoke to my lawyer last week, she was telling me that she has a good feeling that I'm going to win my case. Now, when the lawyer says that, do I go off what my lawyer said?
So I'm having a hard time hearing you. Is there a way that you can make the microphone a little bit closer to you? Walk me through that quick little fact pattern again. Yeah, see if you can make the connection a little bit better, because I've got you all the way up on this end. I can barely hear you.
Okay, hold on.
Sure.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, good sir. Perfect.
Yes, sir. my lawyer was telling me. I talked to Social Security Disability, and they told me that my case was in writer's mode, but they sent it to the judge, but the judge sent it back because something wasn't right. But then I spoke to my lawyer, and my lawyer was telling me that out of the 6 questions that the vocational that the judge was asking the vocational person, they only answered 1, and that my case is looking good, that I should be winning my case.
Well, if it's with the attorney advisor, who's the writer that basically writes for the judge, they could be, it could be a fully favorable, partially favorable, or unfavorable. That doesn't really tell me if they had to go fix something, whether or not it's a good thing or a bad thing. The vocational expert portion, your attorney should have a leaning point as to which way the claim is going. But remember, the judge could have a bunch of no available work, and then one hypothetical where there was work available, and could still go with that one hypothetical where work was available. What's your most severe impairment? What's your current age?
38, and I have what you call a spontaneous neurothorax.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and what was the most recent treatment that was done on that?
You mean by most recent treatment, like going to the doctors?
Mm-hmm.
I went to the doctor like a month ago or so, and they ran tests and they gave me prescriptions. That's it.
Now, are we talking about one side of the lung or both portions, left and right?
Just my left side.
Just your left side. So,
yes.
I mean, you don't really meet a listing or come close to meeting a listing just with one, I mean, what is the percentage of air that you're getting in there?
What do you mean as far as my disability?
Well, I mean, it's a chest cavity issue when it comes to air, in the lungs. And
it had, the situation happened from cold air. They deflated my lungs, so I had to have an emergency surgery or I would have died. So they had to perform emergency surgery on me right then and there.
Okay, gotcha. All right, so then I guess the point I'm getting at here is they did the surgery. What do you like now?
In severe pain, always in pain. Things I used to do, I can't do.
I mean, okay, but I mean, like, could you still do a job?
No, sir.
So you've got one bad lung, lots of pain, surgery went poorly. So how long have you had this issue?
It's been going on since 2017.
Okay. And where were you working up until 2017?
I was working in temp service doing various jobs, mainly warehouse.
Okay. All right. Gotcha. So you're looking at warehouse work. What's the highest level of education?
10th grade.
Okay. What medications are you currently prescribed?
They prescribed me steroid. They prescribed me some other pain pill, but I don't take it because I had a bad experience with the Oxycontin, and I'm currently, I have lawyers on that case, and we got a lawsuit with them. So I just take ibuprofen.
Okay. All righty. So right off the bat, one of the big things that I hear, feel, or whatever is that this is a situation where they could go ahead and do a follow-up surgery to correct some of the issues with this lung. Have they done follow-up surgeries to work on the lung?
No, sir.
Why not?
I don't know. Like, the doctor, they just telling me that I need to be careful and that it could happen again. That when people have spontaneous neurothorax, it's going to come back again sometime or another in their life.
Oh, okay. This is an inherently difficult claim because of a lot of factors, but the main one is the medical evidence really have to show a reason for you having all this pain. And the other issue I foresee is that, okay, so let's say you do have the pain, you still have medications that can usually deal with that pain, and you should be getting enough air still with your other lung. I mean, do you get any air capacity use out of your left lung?
I mean, I'm breathing okay. If I had trouble breathing, I got a breathing treatment I get on.
Okay. Okay. I don't know which way the judge is going to lean on this claim. This is the kind of impairment that I have to see the medical evidence to specifically understand how severe it is. But I will say this does not inherently to me on its face seem like a situation that would be severe enough. Because if you're still capable of breathing, you're taking pain medicine, the expectation is that, you're going to live with it. You're going to have a great medical malpractice suit against them. But ultimately, at the end of the day, you still could do basic work. And if you were talking, well, I was doing, this kind of heavy labor and temp jobs and stuff like that, they can find other simple jobs, element 5 of the 5 elements, where you could do them, other unskilled work. So to me, if I were a judge, I would be skeptical. I'd have to read the medical evidence right off the bat. I'd really start to be like, well, how bad is he? He doesn't sound like he's running out of breath right now as he talks to me. He doesn't sound like he's in, extreme pain. Sounds like he's doing okay. He just sounds like, he's kind of plodding along, So I don't know, man. I'd have to, people send me hearing audio all the time, and I don't have enough time to listen to the whole thing. I don't have an hour to just sit there and listen to it. But my recommendation. Well, when did you have your hearing?
I had my hearing August 18th.
August 18th. Okay. All right.
And I'm just now hearing something about it in December.
So it takes usually 3 to 4 months. So, August, September, October, November, December, January, you're at 5 months. That's a little long. Throwing some COVID in there, maybe that makes sense. You want my honest opinion?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure you don't want me to lie to you? I can lie to you. I can do it if you want.
No. I'd rather hear the truth.
They're spending more time to write this thing out, to write it up as a denial. They're making sure that they cover all their bases. They're making sure they go through each doctor that you had, so that's not going to come back at them. Denials are tougher to write because they've got to cover a lot more bases. People rarely appeal the approvals. It's usually for financial reasons if they do, or an alleged onset date. But denials, they got to spend time on. They got to really go through and make sure they cite each doctor, why they're adding weight, subtracting weight, all that stuff. This to me sounds more like a situation that's a setup for a denial. Now, did you bring in other aspects to this, other impairments, other disabilities, like depression, anxiety, panic attacks, stuff like that?
No, but my lawyer brought in there that she had got some medical records also that I was bipolar.
Well, from who?
She said she got the medical records from when I was in jail.
How long ago were you in jail?
Last February.
All right, so you were in jail last February. Then this happened after that. Is there any other medical facility that explained that you had bipolar, or was it just while you were in jail seeing a physician while there?
No, but when the question I had to call her back and ask her, when I was a kid, my grandmother said I was getting disability also when I was a child.
All right, so, okay, but was that for bipolar?
I believe so.
Have you recently been to a mental facility for bipolar for treatment? No, sir. All right, so here's the thing. If you want, all right. Here's what I'm going to say.
I want your honest opinion because my lawyer telling me, she just telling me what I want to hear. She's saying that she see that I got a good case and that I'm going to win, that I should get a favorable decision because I guess she knows the judge or whatever the case may be.
Okay. All right. So here's what it means. you didn't have continuous and consistent medical treatment for your, mental impairment of the bipolar. You likely have it because you had it as a kid. I don't know if she argued it, but the problem is she can't back it up with any recent medical treatment. She should have asked the judge to go ahead and send you to a contemporary CEME, a medical expert, so that you could essentially, have the SSA send you to one of their doctors. And the reason why is, that would be a great opportunity for the SSA to pay for their doctor to see whether or not you are actually in a bipolar diagnostic impression setting, like if you actually have that. So that was screw up number one. Screw up number two is that if you had these impairments, having a doctor explain why you didn't get further surgery would have been crucial. Putting it in somewhere as to the dangers, putting it in somewhere as to why it could end up worse, why you could end up not even be able to breathe at all with your left side of your lungs. That's another screw up. Another thing too is that, look, you should have been talking about anxiety and depression, right? Because your life just changed. You can't do the work you once did. You can't earn a wage. Why aren't you going to a mental facility to go ahead and get a review for those? That's another mistake. Another thing I would have done is basically I would have looked into what breathing mechanisms or things that and I understand you got an inhaler, right? I'm sure they gave you an inhaler.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so
yes, sir.
Normally people have difficulty sleeping when they have a condition like that. So what are you using throughout the night to make sure that you're able to breathe?
My inhaler or my breathing treatment.
Okay. So you got to run out of air, wake up and grab that.
Yes, sir.
That sounds like a shitty deal.
Yeah,
that sounds like, I mean, that sounds like you got like the Ford Chico edition, non-dually 4x4 mini vehicle of the lot. I mean, that does not sound like you're driving something nice. That sounds like, all right. So we got a golf cart. All right. Now, let me ask you this. Let's talk about breathing capacity. Did they give you any FEV numbers? Did they give you any, assessment as to what the capacity of your lungs currently is? Like, where are you at with that?
Like, when I left the hospital, when they took the tube out of me, they were saying that my breathing capacity was 90, which is good, it's fair, but it needs to be 100.
Wait a minute. Your right lung was 90 or your both lungs combined?
No, my left lung, the one that collapsed, because they had to put a tube in my chest.
So your entire claim is based on maybe you have bipolar nowadays. You have 90% capacity of your left lung, 100% capacity of your right lung, but you have pain, but they're giving you heavy-duty medications. You've already swapped them out, and you're now using ones that you're not complaining about.
Right.
Sounds a little rough,
Yes, sir.
Sounds a little, yeah. I don't look, man, and I don't want you to get mad and be like, oh, no. The judge could approve you. You could have a great judge that could be like, you know what, I think this is really painful. I'll pass it through. You could also have what I run into all the time, which is called a judge who's, centered, love for their work has eroded until basically you have just, essentially this feeling of a lack of, the empathy. Oh, wow. Jane Doe, thank you so much. Somebody just donated $4.99. That's amazing. Jane Doe, thank you so much. I use these little things to help bolster the whole channel. So this is very good because it helps me compete against people putting lots and lots of money into Google and places like that to advertise. So Jane Doe, thank you very much. Excellent. So good, sir. This is what I would say. I would be concerned. And let me tell you what happens on the inside of the SSA with some of this stuff. From what I've been told, what normally happens. The claim got put on the back burner. You called up and bitched. It then got put on the top of the Whopper patty. So if they're starting to, figure out, okay, what do we need? We need some ketchup on this thing. We need some pickles. Let's slap it together, get this thing out and get it going. So now they're rushing. Now they're trying to put this thing together, but they know it's a potential denial. If it's a potential denial, they've got to cover our bases. So how long ago was it that you called in and complained?
Talking about to Social Security?
Yes.
Well, actually, that's what I was about to tell you. Actually, when I was locked up, I had got out in March. I had a hearing for March 17th. But because of the code, and this is no lie. Like, these people, they call my kid's mother, the Social Security Administration. She told them that I was currently locked up. These people are calling around the jail looking for me.
Yeah.
I was currently housed in Savannah jail.
Yeah.
In Savannah, Georgia, and I got the word that the Social Security Administration lady is looking for me to do my hearing. By me while I'm locked up, and she's like that she's trying to help me with my case. So I end up, God bless me. God is good. He blessed me to get out 2 days later. I got out 2 days later after my hearing because they shut the Social Security Administration down March 17th. I got out like the 19th or 20th. So I've been calling them, getting lawyers, and come to find out, I just spoke with them recently. They saying that they had to hurry up and do something about my case because it's priority because it's been sitting there since 2017.
How long were you in jail?
From January to March.
So not long. Okay. I mean, if you win, you're getting a lot of back pay. You lose, think about going to appeals council because there's a lot sitting there.
See, and my lawyer was telling me, she was like, well, if you lose, we'll just start it back over for you. I said, what about the appeals? She's like, no, we'll just start it back over for you, but I don't think we're going to have to go through that.
I hope she is correct. My gut. Yeah.
Thank God, I hope she's correct too, sir.
Yeah. My gut says this claim could be a denial, but I hope she is correct. Are you SSI or SSDI?
SSI.
All right. So basically, all right. So, all right. You get your partial lump sum, and then whatever's left of your back pay. All right. So do me a favor. Call back into the show on Thursdays. Let us know what happened, and I'll tell you. I'll trade you. You tell me what happened, and I'll tell you what happens at the pre-effectuation interview after you're found disabled.
Yes, sir.
Perfect.
And
yeah,
I got you. And I have one more question. You said that as far as the doctors, see, they never told me that I'm supposed to come back in and they, do the resurgery on me or check my mom or whatever. They never told me nothing about that.
Do you have insurance?
No, sir.
Well, there you go.
That's the reason why, huh? Wow.
Man, when I go there, and I have insurance, and let me tell you, they can't, they've already scheduled me for 15 appointments throughout the rest of the year, but when people go in without insurance, let me tell you, it's, here's your diagnostic impression, good luck,
Right.
So.
Right. That's why we need this disability come through, because I can be able to go to these doctor's appointments, get insurance, and get seen about like I'm supposed to.
Gotcha.
Yes, sir. But you got my word. Every Thursday I'll call and give you updates.
Excellent, good sir. Have a wonderful night, and I'll catch you a little bit later.
Yes, sir. You have a blessed day, and thank you for your time, and thank you for all the information. I watch a lot of your videos, and they're very helpful.
You as well. Have a blessed day. Please stay safe with everything that's going on. You know what I mean? Just stay safe, because you might have, coming up in a month, really good news,
Yes, sir. I pray and hope. Keep me in your prayers.
I will. Good, sir. Have a wonderful night. I will catch you later.
All right. You too.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night. Bye-bye. Howdy, guys. So I just want to go through real quick. I'm just going to update the little live chat thing here real quick. Sweetie's in the pool, and Shadow passed out. Shadow's over there. He's actually watching Star Wars. I don't know why. He likes it. It's just, he likes it. So he likes The Mandalorian more. He has some issues with the way Kathy Kennedy handled the rest of it. We're not going to get into it. But the bottom line is Shadow likes the Star Wars. All right. So if you guys have any questions for me, please post them in the bottom of the thing right now. I'll try and answer them quickly. And then we go ahead and basically, go through them. Let's see. Joy Finley took 2 years, vets and reevaluate, drop a job, 0 each. They gave me 10 for 10 years. Submit an increase, not 70%, yada, yada. I know this claim. Yeah. Okay. Lily the Great, when I get my back pay, when I'm approved after my hearing next month, while we're getting nice funds for boat stuff. Oh, well, I can only take fees through the yada, but let me tell you, I got some major boat stuff to work on too, but I just got some boxes and stuff that I'll be working on, and it involves some welding and the whole, it's a whole yada yada. Could we get that perk info anyways? You already know. Well, let's see. I'd like to be passed out. Pool, yeah. Well, the pool's cold right now. It's like in the 60s out there. It's freezing. What are the new SSA guidelines? There's tons of guidelines that are new. Are you kidding me? 2017, 2018, huge changes. 2019, big changes. 2020, I have no idea what new ones are out. I started to read about them all last night, and they were not good. But the main one that came out is that basically they added the 2-day or the 2-year option to the CDR review situation. So with continuing disability reviews, they basically, with continuing disability reviews, sorry, my brain's starting to fall asleep, they can now do the 2-year option where they review you every 2 years, not just every 1 year or 3 years, which were the two options. And if you go far enough back, it used to be only every 7 years. And if you go even farther back from that, it used to be every 10 years. So that's one of the things that you just kind of have to keep in mind. They are consistently making the Social Security disability program harder for people to essentially stay on, which is the big thing. Okay, cool. So, all right. You guys want me to talk about the pre-effectuation review interview. They call it pre-effectuation review conference. Pre-effectuation review conference is basically the interview that you do. And technically it's for SSI, but they do an interview after both. The SSI is longer because they've got to know a bunch of financial information. The SSDI one, it still involves some financial information, but it's not as detailed. The bottom line with this is they're looking to see with SSI whether or not they can apply the 1/3 reduction rule, which is where they reduce your benefits by 1/3 for each month where somebody's assisting you, not just financially, but assisting you, like giving you a place to stay, whatever. They're also going through to make sure they have the correct phone numbers, they have the correct addresses, how you want to receive the money, stuff like that. What are the newest? It's fun. I have nerve damage. I have a college degree and a BA. Nerve damage. All right. So yeah, real beautiness 25. I'd have to review the claim, look at the medical evidence. You can always shoot it to me if I get a chance to look at it. What I tend to do with people is just tell them to shoot me the medical evidence, then remind me on Thursday. I'll look at my email, pull it up, and then basically I'll review it while you're on the phone call and kind of go through the stuff. If you get approved this year, will you still get cost of living adjustments increase? Yeah, of course. 2021. Well, let me check. Actually, I can tell you right now if there's a change. So, well, I already know. Never mind. I already know. SSI is going up. SSI was 783, right? And now SSI 2019 amount due to COLA, cost of living adjustment, is hold on. So it was 771, now it was 783, and now for 2021 it is 794. Yeah, cost of living adjustment went up. You got a little bounce. So you're 794 now. Hi, I got to step 5, and the vocational expert said I could work a job like laundry, clothes, folder, but he responded no jobs to all my judges' hypos. Good news. Yeah, it's probably good news because that means for each hypothetical, there was no available jobs in the national economy. And it means two things, really. It means there was no jobs or there was no jobs in significant numbers. Like anything that's like 10,000 available in the national economy or under is like too small of an expectation. You know, they ask like, hey, is that representative? And what they're saying is like, is that throughout the entire United States that, there's only 10,000 jobs of that type of job. So it means there's either no jobs or there's not enough of a particular job to be presented at a hearing. All right. COL increase will apply. Yes. Do you do VA disability? I don't do VA disability because I have so many Social Security disability claims. I do help people with what they should do with VA disability claims, but I do not do them. There's just no point for me at this point to do them. I know a lot of attorneys do both of them. I just do Social Security disability claims, but I have more hearings and I have more claims than a lot of the disability attorneys out there that do this stuff. All right, so thank you for your feedback. I watch your videos all the time. Super gracias. Hey, guys, here's a big thing. One thing that's really important for me, if you could leave me 5 stars, and there's 2 ways to leave me 5 stars. If you Google disability resolution, you can leave me 5 stars on Google. If you go to Avo. I'm going to put it in here real quick. Avo. Avo, if you go to Avo, that's the attorney review site. Just type in this into Avo. My name will pop up. If you could leave 5 stars, it would help me out immensely, hugely, magnificently. And the reason why is it helps me prove to people the quality of my work. And here's the thing. Avo just gave me a Christmas present, which is that Avo and all these other little places, sweet, nice, 7 stars. I get the double extra. Avo said that they're going to take like lawyers.com, Martindale, Hubble. They're getting rid of the systems that they have with those, and they're taking all the Avo ratings and adding those Avo ratings to lawyers.com and Martindale, Hubble, so it'll be consistent across it. So any Avos that you can give me will be transferred to those other 5-star, base sites for ratings for attorneys. So if you can give me any at all, I would super duper appreciate it. Shadow will get more treats. He gets more treats anyways. I'm kidding, of course. But the bottom line is, if you could help me out with that, if these videos helped you in any way, if you consulted with me, it would be really great. If you could talk to me or you watched the videos and took legal information from them, that would be awesome. Super duper Jane Doe, thank you so much. Did it help with the hearing with it? Did it help? Your videos did help. Okay, awesome. Lacey, very good. Nikki, where in Florida are you? I don't know if you're talking to me, Nikki, or somebody else, but me, I live on an island. So here's what happened. It turns out if you work really hard all the time, if you take no personal time but to take care of your dogs, if you basically become, okay, so let me give an example of what my life is like. Here's a thing. I'll do a video about this later, but here's an interesting thing I want to tell you about something that happened to me. And recently, I actually connected with this professor back on Facebook. It was not like a, hey, how are you, blah, blah, blah. It was more of like one of those things where he put something, I responded, his students and other people responded. It was something I didn't agree with. But the bottom line was questions in Avo. I do. All right, here's the thing with Avo, real quick sidestep. When somebody asks me a question through Avo, I don't get an email. I don't know why, but I don't get an email that said like, hey, somebody just sent you a question. So I check it like once a week. And if somebody's like, hey, call me, then I call them. But Avo doesn't. I have to fix that. I don't have any connection there. All right, let me tell you what happened. When I was in law school, there was a professor there who's a famous professor, and even more famous now, who's in sports law. And that professor, I had one of those, we call them books that were like summaries of law, right? So we would be in a contract course or a property law course or whatever law course. And then we would buy this special book, right, on the subject and would like tell us what we really needed to know. That way we could study the book of law, which was usually scrambled eggs, and what the law was that we actually had to memorize, know, understand, be able to do analytical thinking with, right? So I would do both of those to have a better shot at getting a better grade on the exam. Well, he walked over, right? He took my book. There was no written rule on this, by the way, that you couldn't have this book. Everybody knew after this, though, that you were not allowed to have those books in class. Went over, took my book, and he threw it out the classroom door into a bush. Into a bush. This was horrific for a first year, I think it was the first semester law student. Absolutely horrific. But I'm going to tell you something very important here. Charlie Parker, great sax player. There's a lot of great, amazing people who have taken their craft to extremes, constantly working to almost the detriment of their health, which is where we're at. But the bottom line is that's what happened. That created that moment where I questioned my ability to do things like this. And then I started to innovate. I started to work harder. I started to beat people out. I started to figure out what was the connection. How did this thing work? I started to understand the machine. I started to pull things apart in it. That's how I innovated a lot of these things that a lot of other attorneys use now. So my high-tech letters are being used by many of the attorneys out there. Parts of my 10-level system are being used by many of the attorneys out there. Some of the big box firms use some of the techniques and the things that I've created and innovated and I shared stupidly with the market. You got to give some stuff. I did that. So now, where do we go from here? Where we go from here is we have so many new innovations that can be done in this field. And the big focus is that if we can really figure out how to make them easier for you guys to understand massive law, take something massive and bring it down into something very simple. That's what I'm constantly struggling to do when making these new programs. I am working on the largest video system that we've ever had or that you've ever seen on this program. What it is basically for initial filing, I go through every single question that you could potentially have as a pop-up menu when applying online for disability benefits. And my hope, my dream, is to allow people to use that to file online and do a better job so that I have to spend less time with them helping them file online so I can focus more on their case. So what that means is, I don't know if I'm going to make it available to everybody. I don't know if it's just going to be available to people in the law firm. I don't know if I'm going to make it open and available to basically, be one of those things where you can pay to get it or whatever. But this should be the definitive guide of how to file for Social Security disability benefits, where I explain every single potential question that you're going to run into in detail. That's interesting. You'll be able to have, for the first time, a full understanding from my brain in video format of every single question you could run into. That's a lot. It's taking a while. It took me half a year just to break down how I was going to do it. The 10-level system took me a year just to figure out the layout of it and 3 years to build it, and then about half a year to tweak it. These things take a lot of time. Yes, there will be vote videos. There will be vote videos. In fact, most of the time, just so you guys know, when I'm running hearing questions with you, if you're one of my clients, I'm actually working on boat-related stuff. I'm sanding wood. I'm applying lacquer. I'm doing all that stuff because while I'm running questions with you, I can't do other stuff, So kind of the bottom line is, the whole thing here is I do that stuff too, and it keeps me happy, and I keep going forward. Either way, I hope this helped you. I hope this was really good for you. I hope any of this stuff helped you at all. If you could leave 5 stars, awesome. If you hit the little thumbs up thingy right there, I don't know where it is on your screen, but if you could hit the thumbs up thingy, that would be good. The more people we can help, guys, the more good karma I can get to help all the people in my life who were in my life, who were out of my life going forward. And that's important to me. So have a wonderful night. I will catch you later, and we'll go from there. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.